Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for To Your Eternity, chapter 142. When we last left our heroes, um, Bon and Fushi kind of pushed Izumi on her statement that it's too late to save Mizuha and they can just kind of let her go, which led to sort of learning about Izumi's past with the Guardians, and how it was kind of shitty. Um, she was kind of pushed into this leadership role when she was a kid. On the day of her mother's funeral, her father presented her with a husband. She ran away. She found some other guy who I thought was her ex-husband. I thought that she had split with him after he's revealed to be a member of the Guardians. Is the thing, but no, that's still her current husband. She stays with him. But they have a child, Mizuha, obviously. And Izumi specifically wants to sort of make Mizuha, the perfect child to prove that she was right to leave the Guardians. And so the chapter does a lot to sort of explain why Izumi makes the choices that she made, while still kind of showing that she was kind of not exactly right to make them. Because, her pushing that perfectionist complex onto Mizuha fucked everything over. So yeah, with all that, let's jump right on into chapter 142, Chasing Dreams Part 1, which seems to continue right where we left off, in flashback land. My daughter's life was my life. Yeah, again, don't treat your children like that, okay? Um, and we see Izumi like watching what looks like a dance recital, I think. Yeah, one of the many events Misaha took part in. And then she overhears some of the moms talking. My daughter's going to star in a musical soon, and boy, are we busy. Gosh, that's amazing. That must be so much work. And Izumi overhears that. A musical? And then on the ride home, she turns to Mizuha and says, Say, Mizuha, how would you like to try a musical? Izumi. Izumi, I know why you're like this, but still. When I made her try different things, I felt like I was growing with her. But that growth brought pain. The better I raised Mizuha, the more suited she became to take over as the 18th successor. Those stories I didn't even believe in tormented me. And so again, we're kind of seeing why, Izumi was so insistent that her father not be a part of Mizuha's life. And of course that didn't work in the end. But still. Those stories I didn't even believe in tormented me. I must drown them out. And then Izumi asks, so what about the musical, Mizuha? And Mizuha asked her, huh? Didn't I say I'd do it? And her husband says, we already sent the application, Mama. And Izumi looks at them, huh? We did? This was around the time I noticed something was wrong with my body. And as she's vacuuming one day, she notices something. What's this trophy? I grew very forgetful. And her doctor tells her, yeah, that must be stress-induced memory loss. Okay, so that's interesting. Alright. And then, so we cut back to a young Mizuha showing her a painting. Look, Mama, I got the highest award. Looking back on it now, it seems clear it was the knocker's doing. Oh, so even that early, the knocker that's currently in Izumi was already taking over from time to time. Okay. For some reason, I thought this recent knocker reawakening was a fairly recent thing, sort of spurred on by Mizuha's sudden bits of memory loss. But apparently, it's been going on for like the better part of a decade. Judging, like Mizuha looks 8, and she's what 14 or so in present day, so at least 6 years or so. So that's new information. Anyway, I started documenting my life so I wouldn't forget. And then Mizuha says, so like they're going somewhere, and Mizuha kind of sheepishly says, I don't want to go to practice today. And Izumi looks at her, huh? My friends said they don't want to talk to me. And Izumi just snaps. Anyone who says that isn't a real friend. Just ignore them. Do you hear me? Okay. Which, I mean, we do know kind of, like I've been saying the past couple of videos, we know why Izumi is the way she is at this point. but that's still just not the thing to say to your crying, elementary school age daughter. Um, and then we cut to some time later, and Mizuha is sick in bed with a fever. And Izumi's husband says, "Don't you think we're pushing her too hard? I think she needs less time at lessons and more time to make friends." And Izumi, who, is definitely not recovered from her betrayal at the hands of her husband, just snaps at him. "Are you blaming me? No, that's not what. Do you know whose fault it is that I'm so desperate? I'm not raising the 18th successor. Keep your nose out of this." And her husband snaps, "She's my daughter too, you know. I'm the one looking after her. I'm raising her well, so don't talk like I'm doing something strange to her." Uh, and her husband snaps, "It is strange. Have you ever done something for Mitsuha's own sake?" And that cuts to Izumi. Because in reality, she really hasn't. Um, so yeah. The husband is an interesting character to me because I can't quite figure out, he seems to be, judging from last chapter, he seems to be kind of, his goal is making Mizuha the successor. But at this point, maybe over the past 4 or so years since that part of the flashback, maybe he has genuinely changed, and he's more interested in Mizuha as a person than Mizuha as the successor. I don't know. Anyway, Izumi just snaps, "I wasn't," and then she drops her phone, um, and like blacks out. I think perhaps part of her knocker. Um, But then we cut to a black background and we hear quiet voices. "My word, I can't believe the time has actually come." Hmm? Oh, this is the Guardian Knocker already. I thought the Guardian Knocker was recent and I was completely off base. I was drawn to Mizuha's heart and awakened. Fushi's awakening must be close at hand as well. Don't worry, I will take the future of the Guardians into my hands. The Knockers who adore me have already gathered in this land. With their help, we will attain paradise on Earth. And Izumi thinks, "Is that Mizuha's voice? What an odd dream." And then she jolts awake, looks around, and she's back at her old home. Huh? Huh? What am I doing at my family home? Uh, and we see Mizuha, or the Guardian Knocker, who knows? Sort of rubs her eye. I'm sorry. Did I wake you up? And Izumi jumps awake, slams open the door, and finds her father just sitting at the like a tea table, I guess. Presumably just having a conversation with the Guardian Knocker. But he just says, "Izumi." And Izumi just kind of panics. "What? Why am I here? What happened to me? Father, what did..." And she like turns on her father. "What did you do to us?" And her father sort of stands back. "What are you..." And her husband, who wakes up to this, sort of grabs Izumi. "I'm sorry, sir. She's ill." And Izumi snaps, "And why are you here?" And her husband yells, "Didn't you say we should take a break here for Mizuha's sake?" And that stuns her because she, is suffering through the occasional amnesiac episode and has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. And we cut to a scene later of her in the car. "My amnesia began seriously threatening my lifestyle. I knew I had to do something, but then, hold on, I accidentally clicked the previous page button. Anyway, I knew I had to do something, but then I saw the legendary figure that appeared so many times in the old texts, the soul of the Guardians, Fushi." Okay, so here's a weird thing, because looking at that previous scene, right, this is very clearly not long after, like it seems to be the same night as Mizuha falling ill, which is not long after the musical scene on page 3. Um, and then we see her kind of, she knows she has to do something, and then like 6 years later is Fushi's awakening, and nothing seems to have happened for those 6 years. Um, so I'm not quite sure. I mean, maybe she did just kind of keep putting it off, and time passed before she noticed. That's probably the most sensible answer. It's still kind of interesting that she doesn't do anything for all those years. Hmm. I don't know. I had planned to move, but I was too late. Mizuha took an interest in Fushi. I knew I needed to win back my daughter's heart. And we see sort of the gambit she pulls with the hairpiece. That was sort of, uh, the incident that sort of, led us on the path we're on now. But I failed that too. And we see the Guardian Knocker's murder of her. Um, and so we're back in the present as Izumi is talking to Bond still. I'm just a toxic parent. Do you think a parent like that can save their child? With that, Bond puts down the teacup with just she says. So Bond has basically told everyone everything. Also, looking at that diner booth, Sadaru is there. I did not notice him last time. Not when I first read the chapter or when I reread it. I had no idea he was at that booth. I assumed he just like gone somewhere. Um, and then Fushi asks, and Izumi-san says it's fine to leave this knocker impersonating her alone. Um, and Izumi just responds, "Sure, why not? She's the same as any other human, right? I can't think of any reason not to." Which is, I mean, what we really see here though is, especially looking at that, I'm just a toxic parent line. This is really, I kind of implied, I kind of thought in the past, during 141 and point five, um, that Izumi was feeling betrayal there. But what this is kind of driven home is this is her acceptance of her fate. There's nothing she can do at this point. She is lost. She can't save Mizuha, and she herself does not deserve to be saved. She's in a fully like self-defeating worldview at this point. Anyway, and so then Bond turns to Sadaru. Boy, how similar are the fully merged knockers to us? And Sadaru, well, like eating is like Sunday, I think. They resemble humans, but it is only mimicry. The ones trying to blend into human society age no differently from humans and are content to end their lives the same way. The fully merged ones are like children playing with dolls given to them by their parents. Okay, so that basically makes sense. The ones who are fully merged don't really know anything about human society, and so but they're kind of stuck in humans full time. The others are just sort of pop out at opportune moments. Um, and then Izumi drops a number, 0406. And Bond looks at her, 0406? That's the password for the computer on my desk. When you have some free time, do you mind deleting the image folder there? That household no longer needs it. Okay, there's something on there. I'm curious, like that's gonna be important, I bet. And Bond turns to Fushi. Fushi, it seems Izumi-san would like you to delete the pictures on her computer. Computer? Does Fushi not know what a computer is? Oh my god, Fushi does not know what a computer is, I bet. Like when would he learn? When does he have the time to learn? What with the knockers coming back and him being asleep for 600 years? I don't think he knows what a computer is. Ooh boy. Acquire the key to the house from Mizuha and sneak in. And Fushi looks at him. I don't really understand all that, but I'll give it a shot. And Izumi gets up and walks away. And with that, I believe I'm done here. And Bond calls after her, Izumi-san! Don't tell me. She's returning to paradise? And Fushi is shocked. It can't be. Aren't you here because you had unfinished business? Are you sure? Anytime you want to go, I'm ready to kill the fake Izumi-san. I won't fail again. I mean, you say that, but who knows? But Izumi stops. If you want, I'll even go underground and beat up all the knockers there. I'll get Mizuha back from the Guardians. And Izumi just turns back to him. Don't do anything out of character, Fushi. If I wanted that, I'd already be begging you to do so. And Fushi, of course, can't hear, so he turns to Bond. And Bond says, Thank you. I'll think about it, she says. Bond lies. And Izumi walks away laughing. as the chapter ends. Okay, I'm gonna take another look at that. The chapter title here is Chasing Dreams. Um, and I'm curious how that quite relates to our current situation. Because, I mean, maybe in a way, Mizuha chasing her dreams Izumi, like the whole living vicariously through her daughter thing. But that's not really the point of the chapter. That maybe might be the point for like 3 pages. But after that, it becomes very clear the chapter is kind of about Izumi and the knockers. And, the moment that her life with Mizuha kind of spiraled out of control, um, the Guardian Knockers reawakening, Mizuha meeting Fushi, Izumi's death, and Izumi's kind of acceptance of her own demise. Because it does kind of seem like, it seems like that's it for Izumi. It seems that Izumi is sort of accepting her fate and is going to paradise, despite what Bon tells Fushi. And so I don't know. It's sort of a weird chapter title. Um, but yeah, I am really curious what's gonna come with Izumi next. Like, is this it for her? Is she just gonna walk into the sunset? Um, or is Fushi gonna like drag her back to humanity, kicking and screaming? Which again, kind of, broaches the larger question of the Guardian Knocker. Or not of the Guardian Knocker, of the Izumi Knocker. Is the Izumi Knocker allowed to live? Um, and it's a thorny philosophical question. Izumi does deserve to live. Mitsuha deserves a better parent. I've addressed this before. And it really is a neat trap the Guardian Knocker is laying for Fushi, like philosophically, because I kind of railed against anyone acting like the Guardian Knocker has a point with this plan of killing suicidal people doesn't count as killing people, because holy shit, that's a bad take. But by the Guardian Knocker tying that non-existent moral dilemma, because the morality there is so obvious, to this actual moral dilemma, it makes what the Guardian Knocker what the Guardian Knocker wants to do, into what seems like a moral dilemma. So it's a neat trick, but we're sort of like dealing with the stuff that's not actually part of the trick, or not the actual crux of the trick. But that being said, it's all great content. We really see Izumi sort of spiral, as more of her life gets taken by her knocker. And if I have one complaint, about this chapter, it's that I do wish we saw more between the incident at her father's house and Mizuha meeting Fushi, because it seems like that's at least like a 5 or 6 year period, and we just kind of miss it. And so if we had seen more of Izumi's spiral, I think it might have made more sense. But it does work for the most part. But then yeah, she believes herself hopeless, that it's time to move on. You know, she even kind of argues that they can just leave the Izumi knocker alone, that Mizuha would be better off. Which makes sense, given that her complaint is that she's a toxic parent. Do you think a parent like me can save their child? She does believe that the Izumi knocker is a better parent, which, to be fair, isn't entirely wrong. I mean, that doesn't mean that Izumi deserves to die, but I think Izumi is going through some serious self-hatred. Izumi believes that she deserves to die. And so I really hope that Izumi does not die here, that she does not go into paradise, that she has a character arc, and that she gets the chance to like start over with Mizuha, that she has to try again and deal with what she did wrong and try to do better. But only time will tell there. I think the last thing I want to bring up before I bring this video to an end is the computer, because you wouldn't really spend almost a whole page on some random computer if whatever is on that image file is not going to be important. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's definitely going to be important. I don't know how. But yeah, I don't know. Like my first guess is that the folder has to do with, you know, her documenting her life so she wouldn't forget. But I don't quite know what the relevance of that is to the plot. Unless it's more of a character thing. That the only thing she was able to document were things that the Izumi knocker was not in control for. And so with the Izumi knocker now living full time, um, you know, they don't need that because she's dead. Maybe that's it. But then yeah, she walks away. Bon, I lied about that being the last thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about Bon for a second at the very end. Like, what does Bon gain by lying to Fushi there? What is his goal? Um, like, does he kind of agree with Izumi? And he knows obviously that Fushi will not agree with Izumi. There is nothing Fushi can say. There's nothing Izumi can say to get Fushi okay with Izumi dying. But Bon himself is more okay with Izumi moving on, if that's what Izumi wants. And so he lies to get Fushi, you know, off of Izumi's case, so that Izumi can make the choice that she wants to make. I don't know. We'll probably see more of that going forward. Next time is only like, you know, day after tomorrow, because good lord, this video was late. But after this, I'm just about done with all of the catch-up I've needed to do. So yeah, I don't know. This was a fun chapter. We kind of finished our sort of deep dive into Izumi. And now all that's out in the air. And we'll see what Fushi does next, what Izumi does next, hell, what Mizuha does next. And we'll see if maybe, finally, this is what maybe pushes Fushi to go and get his friends back to help. Please, I want my Dragon Boy back. But yeah, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!